Hi everybody, this is the beginning of Module 3, actually week 4 of our 7-week class, so we're clipping right along here, almost over halfway through Microsoft Word. And to begin with, this week I just wanted to reiterate again, we're in Learning Plan 3. In order to access the information you need for the module, if you wanted to follow in the ebook, you would click on Word Module 3, Creating Tables and Multi-Page Report. It would take you into your Mind tab, and it would launch the Module 3 learning plan. So if you wanted to work through the book, this is what you'd have to launch to do that. I'm going to work through all of this with you. You can work through it yourself, or you can just watch me, but most things that you learn throughout this will be required for you to do this throughout the, or in the training and all the assignments you have to do at the end of the module. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. And the first thing we're going to do is open up a document called NPWD 3-1. If you have downloaded the files and you want to work along, you can do that. So if I go to my desktop here, I'm going to open up my Word Level 1. Again, this is Module 3, so you're going to go in the Word 3 folder, into the Module folder, and we'd find the 3-1 file. Hopefully this won't take too long to open. And then we're going to save this. I'm going to save this as NP_WD_3_wireless. Okay, so in this first section here, we're just talking about how you can kind of navigate a document using the headings. And I can hit the Control key, Control F, or I can hit the Find feature here to go to this navigation pane. If I click on headings, I can see all the headings that are in this document here. These headings correspond with the heading style that was used. So we learned about heading styles last module. And if I click on summary here, I can see that the heading 1 is used for summary. If I come down here further into survey costs, still have heading 1. Click on expenditures, you'll note that it's a heading 2 style. Notice how it's showed as kind of underneath the survey costs over here. And then upgrades is a heading 3 style, again, kind of underneath expenditures. So headings you can use to jump around in your documents. Now I'm at the bottom of my document here. I can click on summary and it'll jump to the top of the document. You can also use the headings to collapse information. So for instance, if I go to survey costs here, I can click in here. I have to be clicked, but this little arrow will come up next to survey costs. Sorry, my computer is being weird. I'm not sure why it just went way up there. I think it's freezing on me here. I'll click on there we go. And if I hover over that little triangle, it'll turn blue. Once it turns blue, I can left click and it collapses all that information that's underneath survey costs. Click on it again, it brings it back. Same thing if I would do that with expenditures. So I'm going to do it everything under the expenditures section. Upgrades would just do the paragraph underneath upgrades. But that would just show you how you can collapse and re-expand your information here using the headings feature over here. These little triangles will not show up unless you have given them a heading style. Once you give them a heading style, that's when those triangles show up. The other advantage to using the heading style here is that I can move information a lot easier as well. So now I have collapsed the information underneath upgrades. Now I can select that and I could choose to move it. So I can left click now and drag and move the entire section without having to select all of that and moving it all at the same time. Now if I expand again, all my information is still there. So it's just a different way of selecting and moving information. The other thing you'll notice is that upgrades, it originally was a heading 3 style, still is, and even though I've moved it, it is still kind of demoted, basically. Over here, we can choose to promote or demote. So I can right-click on my upgrades, and I can choose to promote it, and now it's considered a heading 2 style. So before it was heading 3, now it's heading 2. So this can promote and demote. I know you have to do this in one of the assignments, so just note where you do that over in here. Okay, moving on. We're going to move to the end of our document. This is actually a mistake in the book. I'm not sure if anybody would notice it on 3-11. It's telling us to hit Control End to get to the end of the document, but it actually says Control Home, which will take you to the beginning. So we just want to get here below expenditures, and now we're going to hit Control Enter to put in a page break. And if I turn on my show hide markers here, you can see it inserted a page break. Now I could have also done that by going to the Design tab and choose, not Design tab, Insert tab, and choosing Page Break. I could also go to the Layout tab and go to Breaks and Page. Any of those would work, but it's nice to know that keyboard command of Control Enter, Control Return will insert a page break for you. Now we're going to insert a table. So if you go to the Insert tab under your table menu, I can just hover over all of these boxes, and that's determining how big my table is going to be. I just need it to be a 2x4 table, 2 columns, 4 rows. So I'm going to choose that. I'm going to turn off my formatting markers here. And you'll notice that my cursor will just be blinking here in the upper left-hand corner. You know what? I just realized I'm going to hit undo a couple times because I just did this wrong. I wanted my expenditures to also move down to the next page. So Control Enter to put in my page break. Oops. There we go. And now I'm just going to reinsert that table there. There we go. Okay, so now we can start typing our information in our table. And you'll notice that the mouse will just be blinking in the first cell there, and we're just going to type in item. And then I hit the tab key to move over to the next cell to hit cost. So if you've taken Excel before, maybe some of you are in it right now, the information in a table is similar to a spreadsheet in that we can refer to these boxes as cells. So you move from one cell to another by hitting the tab key. If after cost I hit the enter key, it's not going to move to the next cell like it does in Excel. It'll just put an extra line in there. So I don't want to do it that way. I want to hit the tab key, or I'd use my arrow keys or my mouse to move from within the table. All right, moving on. I'm going to type in computer hardware here. And the cost is going to be $25,000. Oops, spelled hardware wrong. And then we're going to put in sound equipment. And the cost is going to be $7,500. And then access points, the cost will be $850. And then notice I needed an extra line there. Sorry, I did that kind of quick. Get to the end here, I need an extra row. Now I could go up here in the layout tab and I can tell it to insert a new row for me, insert below, or I can just hit my tab key and it inserts a new row for me automatically. So I'm going to type in servers, and the amount there is going to be $15,000. Okay, so that's how you can add information into your table. You can also format information in your table just like you can anywhere else. I can select this top row here and I can choose to bold it. I could change my font size. I could add shading, any of those things if I want to. But for now, we're just going to make that top row bold. You can also sort information in your table. So again, I should have pointed this out earlier, but notice with your table tools up top here, I have a design tab and a layout tab. I'm only seeing those because I'm in my table currently. So since I'm in my table, I can be clicked anywhere in my table. On the layout tab here, I'm going to choose sort. And notice it's going to automatically pick up this first column, which is item, but I want to sort by cost instead. So I'm going to click the drop-down menu and go to cost. And then ascending is already chosen for me, which is what I want. So I'm going to click OK. And notice my information flips around there. It puts the lowest cost first down to the highest, and it moved this information with it too, which is kind of important, but it does that automatically. If I want to insert information, I could do this a couple different ways. I could select this whole column, and I could choose to insert right, insert left, however you want to insert, whatever you want to insert. You could select things and then, choose to insert above or below, or actually it would do it wherever your cursor is as well. But you'll also notice if you hover kind of in the middle sections or between rows or columns, you can insert this way as well. So I'm going to put in a new column right in the middle here. I can move my mouse there and hit that plus sign, and it puts in a new column for me. So my new column is going to be titled Installation Costs. And then I'll type in my information here. And there's no quick way to move down other than hitting your down arrow or clicking your mouse. Either one does the same thing. So that's how you can insert new information. You can also delete information. So if I want to get rid of the servers row, for instance, I can right click on that, or sorry, don't right click, left click to select the whole thing. And actually, if I try to do that again, you'll see my little mini toolbar gives me a delete option. I can choose delete rows right from here. I could also come up on my layout tab up here and choose delete the same way, delete rows, and it'll delete the whole row. The one thing you don't want to do is select and hit the delete key. Delete, oh, actually it did work because I hit my delete key, not my backspace. Let me undo that. If you hit the backspace, it'll just delete the contents of your cell, not the whole row. So I'm using that delete feature as the way that you want to do that. Okay, we can also replace information as well. So instead of saying computer hardware here, we want to do workstation, computers, and server hardware. A lot of information there. But we can then adjust that so that fits better. We can do this a couple different ways. I could put my cursor in between there, double click. It'll make it as big as it can while still fitting between the margins. I could also adjust these two rows. You can see that I don't need all this extra white space over here. So I could go to installation cost and cost, put my cursor here, double click. It'll auto fit the contents. Another quick, easy way to do it is just to make sure your cursor is anywhere in your table. On your layout tab, your auto fit option here, I can just tell it to auto fit contents. It'll force everything to fit. I shouldn't say it'll force. It'll do it if it does fit. So it's going to adjust this as much as it needs to be to fit the data. Same thing with this column and this column. You can always adjust it yourself. Like you could say, well, I like that, except I want a little extra space in here. You can always click there and adjust yourself as well. However you want to do that. But that auto fit is a quick, easy way to fit all the information in there at one time. Okay, on your design tab under your table tools, you have all these design options. And I don't really know why mine looks like this. Mine did not look like this in the classroom today, but it's okay. You should have, one of your options should be this Grid Table 4 Accent 6. Click on that, just notice it makes it look pretty for us. And you'll notice on the Design tab far left, see how this is all bold here? It's because first column is checked. If I uncheck first column, that bolding goes away. I certainly could come in here and I could put in my own shading. I could make the text bigger. I could make the font different. But these styles are kind of laid out for us to just quickly choose something to kind of dress up the table a little bit. One thing I will mention is if you do, let's say we want this column, this row to be a little bigger. We want to make it bold. We're going to make the text bigger. I could do all that. But the one thing you want to do, you always want to do that before you would apply a table style, because you'll note now if I go back and apply that table style again, now this is going to make a liar out of me. Usually it does not hold that formatting. That might be a new feature in Microsoft Word. In fact, it used to be that if you would change some of this formatting, when you'd go and you would apply the table style, it would apply over that formatting. And we'll actually see an example of that here in a second when we add some borders. So it looks like it does override some formatting, but not all the formatting. So it's always great when it proves me wrong. But that's okay. It's not worth redoing my video, so you can just see me make a mistake instead. Okay, the other thing I just want to show you with tables is, let's say you do put in a table style and then you decide you really don't want it. You know, you don't like it. You'd have to kind of go through and get rid of a lot of that yourself. Take out the shading, change the font, you know, change different things. But you can also go to the More button here. You can choose Clear. It'll take away that table style. So this doesn't look exactly like it did before, but at least it doesn't have all that shading that you had. So if you have a table style, you want to get rid of it, that's how you can do that. We're going to go ahead and keep that table style the way we have it there. The other thing you can do is you can put in your own type of effects as well. So notice over here, we're in our table under our borders option. We want to be able to click the border painter. Oops, hold on. Which is really interesting because there should be another box right here that was there this morning when I was in the classroom. Where is my border painter? This is very odd. There should be another button right here. Why am I not seeing another button? This is the latest update. Wow, really weird. There should be a border painter option for me right here. And there's not. I think I'm losing my mind, but there's not. I know there was one here in my class this morning. And for you, it probably should be here, borders, border painter button. You'd click on, and then you click on a pen color, and you have the option to add, oh, okay, so that's weird. I didn't have to actually click on the border painter. So you might, again, you know, this is cloud, this is 365, so maybe some things have updated in my classroom and haven't updated on my computer or vice versa, not really sure. But if I click on the pen color here, for instance, I'm going to choose orange. And notice as soon as I do that, I get this paintbrush attached to my mouse. I'm going to change the width to be 3 point. I could even change the style of my border if I want to. I'm not going to. I'm going to make that a little bigger yet here, so it's more obvious. But okay, so moral of the story here is some of you might have a border painter button here, and if you do, you click it. It's like a toggle, clicks on and off. If not, click your pen color button here and just change the color, and you should be able to get that to change then. And now anywhere I click, which you should have probably already seen, I've been clicking around here, you can add a different border to your table. I don't know. I probably have never used this feature. It would be maybe nice to put in maybe a border, extra border if you're going to be totaling some stuff, or maybe you're just adding an extra border to make it stand out differently. But it's something that you can do that's different from, you know, your regular border if you want to. But we don't want to. We want to keep this. See, now this is going to be my problem. Oh, there. Okay. I wonder. So yeah, in order to get that to turn off, so I had clicked on my pen color, that got it to turn on. You click on this little borders button, kind of works as like a toggle switch. So if you're still getting that paintbrush attached to your mouse, you can click on that borders button to get it to go away. So that you can come back here, and we're going to choose that same style again. So it's going to get rid of those extra borders we put in there. See, this is the kind of stuff I might just skip right over. It's kind of fun, but how much time are we going to put into adding these borders? But I'm afraid you're going to see that on the SAM learning. SAM training, so I don't want you to miss that. Okay. The next thing I want to show you how to do is how to add a total if I want to total something in a table. So I'm going to hit the tab key here to add another row. And I'm going to click right below my cost column here. And then I'm going to go to my layout tab and formula. And notice it's already picking my formula, sum above, which would be adding the cells above it. And then I'm going to go to my number format, and I'm going to pick this first option, and I'm going to click OK. And it's going to put my total in there for me. Now, this is Microsoft Word. I would not spend a lot of time otherwise putting in too many formulas. If you just have a quick formula like this, you can use Microsoft Word for that. But if you have a lot of formulas, I would be using Excel to do that. A quick little formula is one thing, but otherwise, if it gets too complicated, it's much easier to do in Excel. The other thing you'll notice, let's see if I want to change my sound equipment here to be 10,500. Notice that this doesn't update automatically. I typed it in here, but this doesn't update like Excel does. I have to right click on it and tell it to update the field, and then it updates it. So that's another difference as well between Word and Excel. Other things you can do in a table, I can merge cells. So let's say I want to merge these first two cells in this row to be one big cell. I can select those and then go to merge cells. And now that's one big cell. So I'm going to type in the word total here. Let's go ahead and make that bold. And I'm going to right align it as well, which I can't do from this menu. So I'll go to the Home tab and just choose right align. And that allows me to just add a little bit different features to the table if I want to merge cells. It's kind of a nice feature. Okay. What else does it cover in this section here? The last thing I just want to mention to you, when I'm on the Layout tab here, and I can kind of show you this more so from this top row, as far as formatting information. So we can go to the Home tab and I can choose left align, right align, so on. But you can also do that in this alignment group. This top left means it's going to top left align, which means it's going to the vertical alignment as well. So it's talking about left align for the horizontal alignment and top align for the vertical alignment. So this allows me to, like, if I want to center, that means it's going to center it horizontally and center it vertically if I would choose that option. Or I can left center. It means it's going to center it to the left horizontally, but then, sorry, I just said that wrong. It's going to left align it horizontally, but center align it vertically. So these options, this alignment here just gives you some different options when you're working in a table, which would allow you to adjust the alignment a little bit differently. Okay, so this ends the first section of Module 3. So I just covered Section 3.1. So I'll stop this video now, and then I'll cover 3.2 in the next.